Happy Friday, beautiful people, and hello to you all out there tuning in for your first sip of the weekend. You're tuned into your happy hour with Friday Feels. We're celebrating all you working professionals out there doing your crazy craft, embracing the beauty of being human and connecting authentically. And we're your host, Saja Nicole. We're living and working around the world, holding space for you and keeping it raw and real as we share fresh content with you every week. Follow us on LinkedIn at Friday Feels and Instagram at These Friday Feels for updates throughout the week.
In our last episode, we kickstarted the theme of money positivity by exploring our money truths, when it is that we walk with worth in the world, and what are the fallacies that we as humanity potentially have brought into and also sometimes allow to control our lives.
And this week, we are taking this a step further with a very special guest, friend, and fellow working professional who has been an entrepreneur from age of 16 when he picked up the saxophone and knew that this would be his life for sharing the spirit of music. So a very big welcome to Alex Madeline. It's really great to have you on here with us. And for our audience out there, it's a very quick peek into your world before you tell us a little bit more. You were born in France, realized at an early age what your passion is, studied jazz and classical music at two very prestigious conservatories in France, and then followed your heart to Boston, where you got a scholarship from Berklee College of Music. And now you've been touring and you've been playing in the Big Apple with gigs, and you've just released 2 songs of your first debut album, Unexpected Directions. So a massive congratulations on that. And yeah, tell us a little bit more about your journey. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, man, you already said a lot. So, uh, yeah, I want to. No, there is actually one thing. There is a third single out there now. So yeah. I mean, the journey. It's like I started as you said, picked up the saxophone and like what, like 14 years old, I guess, something like that, like early 14 years old. I remember because I was like, I learned only like 3 notes at the first lesson, like you have to use 2 hands, and I was using only the first hand, because you have to put like the thing in your mouth to get the air. So, it took time. And I remember going home and just like play for hours, like just trying with just only 3 notes. And I kind of fell in love with that. So the year later, I was already in conservatory, and I was like, okay, that's what I want to do in my life. So my high school was like, I took like a special program when you can like have half of the classes at conservatory, half of the classes at school. It's a music special program. So yeah, and I've never stopped loving it. It's like you open a door and the room is bigger, and then there's another door, and you open the door and the room is bigger, and there's another door. So here, yeah, and now here I am in New York, and it's still the same thing. Still opening doors.
Still going in unexpected directions through each door.
Yeah. I think this is what we try to do in life. I choose music, but different people they choose like everything else, passions and directions. Yeah.
A lot of people don't really think about creatives as like entrepreneurs. I think a lot of people talk about like when you're moving out of corporate and you make that big leap of faith into entrepreneurship. But as an artist, you've been a solopreneur from day one. Like, what's that journey been like? Kind of having your own brand, your own company, everything that's you in the world.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is an entrepreneur. I don't think people would be happy to be like that. This is why the people who go to corporate and don't like their job. I'm not saying everyone don't like their job, but this kind of cliche, or they go home and they're like, oh, finally, I hate my job. The thing is, like, it's because they are not entrepreneur during that period of time, but when they go home, they make their own decision, and that they became their entrepreneur. Everyone is. I don't think human being would be satisfied if he wasn't making his own decision all the time. But the thing is, like, to me, I wanted to do that all the like every day, all the time, which is like following orders is cool. It's not like, it's not like I want to be an entrepreneur because, I hate orders. it's just like it's just like I was like, yeah, I was like, I want to do my own choice, and life's too short. I'm like, if I can do it all my life, I will do it no matter what, because like everyone, my family, my friends back in France, before I did music, they are not musicians. So when I wanted to be a musician, they were like, wait. They had this cliche of the poor guy, the guy who will struggle all his life. And my parents are, are you sure? And my friends, they were like, they still don't really understand sometimes, because my music does not really speak to some of them. But the thing is, like, it's if you work, if you work, you'll get somewhere. And the thing is like, since I love it and I make this choice and people supported me making this decision, it's like also a duty to work and find something, find stability, find something in that. So yeah.
So the theme of this month is money positivity. And like you said, everyone has this idea that creatives are poor. And the topic we spoke about for you this week is freedom through the arts. So do you feel like you found freedom, financial freedom, through doing your art?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, you make your own choices. Like this happened to me. I had couple years ago, I was living with five people in New York, like smallest bedroom ever. But rent was okay for New York. But my rent was fine. I was playing only small jazz gigs, a few private gigs, but not much. I was teaching a few students, but very not much. I was making no money. I was super happy. I was playing all the time. I was practicing 10 hours a day. Yeah, it's nice. The only thing is just like I was like, okay, let's put my music out. Oh, cannot do. Why? The thing is, like, first thing is financially. It's like I could have I wrote the music already. Everything was there. Everything was ready. The only wall was the money. So yeah, of course you need some. And the thing is, like, I was super happy. COVID hits, and during that time, went back to France, sat down, and took notes. I was like, okay, it's time for you to record after this. So I started to put numbers, and then I figured out that these numbers couldn't be reached with my jobs, because I didn't make enough. So I started making calls, got some teaching. I work for a private agency now that they send me everywhere in different states in New York to play like corporate gigs, like wedding gigs, like Nobel Prize, all these kinds of events that I'm not. It's an amazing job. All right, don't get me wrong, but this is not what I like in music. But I took this decision to do it in order to make the money, in order to have a better situation, in order to be able to do my project. So that's how it happened. And now the thing is, now it's too much. Now I have too much work. I was talking to my friends yesterday about that. Now it's too much. So finding the balance is very. Finding the balance, I think it takes years. I went to the extreme of no money. Now I'm going to the extreme of having money, but having not having much time anymore. So I put my music out, and now if I have to perform the music, I would have to quit some of the jobs that I have. All of the jobs are in music related. It's playing, teaching music, recording. But it isn't, I want to say, on 100%. There is only like 75% of that really matters to me. The rest is purely financial. That's not true, because I matter to my students. But, you know what I mean. uh, but and sometimes I get tired, I just think about this album, how good or bad it is. It's like, it's just, I made it. I sat down 3 years ago and I was like, okay, let's do it. And I couldn't have done it without that. So yeah, I mean, the financial you can, and then people are like, oh no, you cannot. I'm like, okay. So when I tell my story to some of my friends, they're like, yeah, but I don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. I'm like, then it's not that it's impossible. it's because you don't want to make the effort to do it. And I'm pretty sure you can do everything. You can find a job which is not in music really. There's amazing musicians who are like waiter, bartenders, like this is, I have a friend, he doesn't like to touch music if it's not like something he loves. So he decided to cut his life in half. He has his musical aspect and the is great. Andy Louis, you guys should check it out. And he has his music, and then he works in restaurants because it's easy. It's close to his house. He goes, and also he told me he's like he likes to go there because he empties his mind musically. Then when you get back to music, he's fresh. I want to do it. So finance, you can find it. You can find it. Yeah.
I like the hustle culture that you bring to it, Alex, by
Yeah,
any means
it's
necessary.
the thing is like the hustle culture is everywhere. Like we talk about that. It is true, but it is a cliche that has been like turning around for so long. I'm I had so many people like the hustling, the hustle, the musician. Like when you talk about the musician, the guy in the street, the guy who live in a car, the guy who you know and that doesn't make money, and because people like to hear this story. They don't want to see a rich. They don't want to see a musician, dress in shirt and be like, oh, I'm super fine. I have like a mansion, but who is not like a rock star. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm just a random guy that you don't know, but I make like 5 times more money than you playing an instrument. No, it's not dreaming. People, they want to dream. They want the guy who's like, oh man, like I drank a bottle of whiskey until 5 a.m. and I have this gig. I don't know. I don't have money, so I'm gonna. No, it's a big cliche. It's a big cliche, but it's true. And at the same time, a finance guy is also hustling. Like this guy at Wall Street, they wake up early morning, they drink 20 coffees, and then they yell at each other for hours. They have like a 10-minute lunch, or they don't eat. So they hustle too. They hustle too. They're. But the big difference is like Wall Street. You put that name on it, and people are like, no, no, they're fine, they're fine. Yeah. so everyone hustle at some point.
So, can I ask what brought you over to the US rather than doing your music in France? Is there some opportunity here, or people, or was there a reason that you really feel very strongly about the US debuting your music and sharing that here versus your home country?
Yeah, I always been attracted by that. When you play jazz, most of the heroes they're Americans. So first it's something that you're like, wow, I should go there one day. Then there is also a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Antoine Katz, amazing bass player. He's touring with Roosevelt right now. Very good music, I guess. To check it out. And he went to Berkeley first. So we did my first conservatory. I did it with him, and actually we were in the same high school too. And we had a group together when we kind of toured at the early age. It was very cool. We were the only one around to play that kind of music, and we were like young, so people loved us. You know what I mean? Like young people, old people. So that was pretty cool. So we had this band, played a lot, and we created like a real bond. We were like very serious about it. And this guy decided to move to Berkeley because he was more into, he wanted to play music professionally in like pop rock. I mean, I don't want to say because he plays everything, but not in a classical and jazz oriented perspective. Like in France, when you study music, the study of the music, like years ago, it was mostly classical and jazz. You didn't have a pop school, or it was rare. In the US, you have. If you go to Berkeley, you can study all kind of music. You have more opportunities for that. And also, I think he was dragged to go there, and he's American too, French American. But anyway, he went there, and we keep having news. And like 2 years later, he's like, "Dude, you should come because I think this school looks like you, or you belong to that place. Like you'll love it." I'm like, "Fuck it, let's try." So I did the audition, blah blah, and I went there. I was supposed to stay one year, and 10 years in the country now. 10 years.
That's awesome.
So yeah, this guy was the one who pushed me to do it.
You signed with a really cool, very young label, fresh and up and coming. And yeah, I'm just curious, like what does that look like? A lot of people don't really know what the artist journey is like once you start putting your music out there. They have these massive labels. People like Taylor Swift has even moved away from like a big label doing her own thing. Like, why is that? Why go with a label that's not as massive, or what kind of gets taken away from you financially or doesn't? What's the benefit?
There is many options. First, there is label I would dream to be, but I didn't even ask, but I'm pretty sure if I ask them, they're gonna be like, "Come back later," like Blue Note Records. but but then also I got other options. I got other offers, and it's not what it was. Everything is money. World is becoming a little sad with that, which is because every creative aspect become like a transactional thing. It's not. People fake it. I'm sorry for the people who are going to listen to that and dream, but keep dreaming because it's going to happen again. But right now it's like, it's very bad. So the thing is, like, they all going to sell it and be like, oh yeah, you're going to be in our catalogs. We're going to help you because we love arts. We love what you do, but you have to give us $5,000. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's not it should be the opposite, right? Before, the label would pay for the studio, would pay for everything. Like, you put the studio out of your pocket, you put everything out, and then you have to pay your label. Wait, what? So that's how it is. So you give money, or they take your rights. So that's what they used to do. Studio, they used to pay the label. They used to pay the studio, pay the musicians, everything, and then the music belonged to them. Then after, in the deal, you can say like, okay, I can take a cut of this, but thing is, like, CDs don't sell. Streaming is horrible. Spotify is horrible. I just share my song on Spotify for the people to listen because they're all on there. But get away, get out of that. Like, the artist has to pay to get there, and the artist earn 0.0000000. I forgot, but there is a lot of zero before you see numbers, and like, if you want to make $1, you have to have New York City listening to your song. You know what I mean? It's not fair. It's a game. So this is taking the musician for like a joke. Anyway, so the record labels now, they cannot have a deal and be like, okay, we take your music, and if we're gonna make the money on the streaming. They're not making money, so they're trying to make money somewhere else. So the artist pays, but it's not what the label should be now. So this is why I searched for that. I got offers. I'm like, no, I don't want to pay more. And also ethically, I don't care about being in a big thing. So many people are like, oh, look, I'm in this label. I'm sorry, if I open the label magazine and I see the face of like an unknown guy next to a famous guy, I just look at the famous guy because I know, and then turn my page. So I was like, if I go to this label in his catalog, I'm going to feature next like a super big artist. Nobody's going to look at my thing. Now, there is not a lot of people anymore doing this. The time spent on the frame on something is like a few seconds. So I was like, let's go to like an healthier environment. And I had this guy, Lion Hill Records. It's based in Brooklyn. Just call him. He's super happy. I'm like one of his first. I mean, he has guys. He's been working, but one of his first guy, which was doing kind of this, and already had like big projects, and it just went single. The album is there. So he was very excited, and he told me he's a jazz musician. And he's like, man, I want to go back to what it was before. He doesn't want to make profit. He makes his money differently, but he's like, I want to create a community of musicians. Let's say like he has people now. Let's say that you want to record your second album. Now you ask me, and I can introduce you to the guys. Maybe if you pay this money for this guy, because of me, I can ask this guy to get to play your album for half of what you paid before. Like stuff like that. Like a sharing community. And the deal is taking only a few percentage on the streaming only. I kept all my rights. Everything that is related to my music is on me. If I'm like profit wise. Very healthy. Then you deal with. Then the thing is like they don't have anything yet. So it's not like everyone will know, but little by little. and it's a journey, it's a story, and I'm not like a big rock star rapper, so I don't care. It's like I play a music that touched on a few amount of people, and most of these people, they are not really paying attention of the records. Like my family, they're like, "Oh, cool!" Like, yeah, do you know any label? What is a label? So, you know, yeah, yeah, and it's healthy. We call all the time. We give ideas. It's like it's a baby. It's a project. And to be honest with you, I'm following the title of my album, which is an expected direction. Like I told you when I sat down, I was like, okay, you're gonna record. You're gonna have a label. You're gonna do this, and it really didn't go like that. Direction is there, but it wasn't expected. It's like, whoa. So I was like, let's just do it all the way. So labeled is the same. Um, and and I'd say it's new to me. I mean, I've seen that with friends, but so it's new to me, and I really hope this guy will make it. Since I signed with him, it's funny. Like a couple of friends of mine in New York, they already asked me questions about him. So I hope like you spread the word, and then after like this guy's gonna grow. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it's so great that you like shedding light on that because as a new creative to the industry as well, I'm only learning this kind of stuff now too, that since Spotify has gotten adverts that you can listen to music for free, no one's buying CDs anymore. Like, how are you
Mm.
supposed to fund yourself? How are you supposed to make money when you're putting all that energy into it? So I think it's really great that you took the authentic route.
Yeah, you make your money by performing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There is different thing. There is different things. You can also write music for commercials, movies, and stuff like that. So movies is more towards film scoring, but commercials you can. Everyone, I have a lot of friends. They do commercials. Then the music they play, it's like, for example, my music. I don't think it would work. It's not. So I would have to make another type of music. But I have some friends. Their music matched what the commercial environment they wanted to. So they're like, the music fits more. So I have some friends, they have like a catalog of songs that they never really put out, never really wanted to perform live, but they're there. So now they just use them for that. They use them, they rework on them with the software, and they send them, and they make money like that. This is when there is other stuff, but the musician by itself, I want to say performing is one of the big thing, and the CDs and the music that you record is just like a business card, but a very expensive one to make. But it's a business card. I'm not gonna make money. What I want to try to do is to roll. The CDs, nobody listen to them. So printing 100 CD cost me like this. I already sold like 25 CDs. I paid back this for printing. So now I can print again. But I print mostly to send and give to the press. It's my business card. Take it, take it, take it. I'm here now. I'm here. In France, they want a CD. Jazz, they want like a physical copy. An email is not enough. I don't know why. They probably won't even take the CD out, but I guess it's traditional. I don't know. So over the 100 CD I printed, I already like prepared 60 CD to send for free. So I'm just gonna. I think I'm gonna give more CDs than sell. But luckily, if I sell my CD a certain price, about 20 CD pays back for the 100. So I'm always trying to think like that to not be at lost all the time. But I'm never gonna make my rent selling the CDs.
No.
Uh, but then the CDs might get me to a gig. That's the goal. That's the goal. And it looks better. No, I'm gonna go. I have some gigs coming up. Like I was taking a break, but I have some gigs coming up. I'm gonna bring the CDs. We're not gonna play the same music. It's not the same band, but I'm there. I have some things to give some people. And if no one wants, I can always say like, "Hey guys, I recorded a new album. Here is the CD if you want."
I like your approach because it's not like you're all or nothing. Like if I can't do my work like this, I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna keep pounding the pavement until somebody kind of cracks to and succumbs to like what my view is. Instead, you're adjusting to your environment. You see what works, you try things, which is that is the role of an entrepreneur, right? It's constantly changing, figuring out, how to make things work in different environments. So very interesting. I mean, I know a few creatives, but it's nice that you don't shy away from the financial part of it because it's part of it. It's a big part of our lives. And so thank you for sharing that and also showing people kind of a behind the scenes look of what it looks like to be financially, responsible and also aware of what it actually takes to succeed in this business. It's not only having the talent, but it's also the other side of it, knowing how to kind of tap into the business side.
Yeah, I mean the talent is a few percentage. To me, a talent. Everyone is talented. So many people are like I'm not. I'm not. The talent is related to passion. When you're passionate about something, you're talented. Doesn't mean you're good. There's a lot of people that start they're not good, but they're very talented. Why? Because they're passionate about something. There's so many people were so bad in math, like mathematics and memories. Oh, you don't remember things, but then like there's this boy, he's in love with this girl, and then she share away like a phone number and an address one time, and he remembers it. Why? Because it was the girl. No, but it's like, and he. It's a weird example, but it's kind of the same. That's why my work, I always try to work on something I like, and if I don't like it, I'm trying to find a way to like it because I realize that my brain opens differently for that. Yeah, I've been remembering things at school when you don't like something, it's just come here and go away, come from one here and go to the other. If you like something, you're a sponge, you're a sponge. So this is talent. Then the thing is like the sponge doesn't fill it by itself. You have to put it underwater, so you have to put yourself to work. So the talent and passion is like 10%, not 5% or 2%. 98% is the work, and work can be technical on your instrument, technical about the music, but also financial. Like if you want to do your project in life, you have to sit down and you have to be financially able to do it, so you have to find the money. This is work too. Then there is people they don't need. I have a lot of friends, and in music, there's a lot of people they don't really need money, so they skip this part. But it doesn't mean they can do everything. I have friends who are like very very rich, and they're some of the best musicians I've seen. They practice like 13 hours a day. They never stop, but they don't go teach as much. They don't do this thing. They don't work for the money to create their project. So that's side. But their life is the same. They still work crazy. They still work crazy. I want to do this with my life. The thing with the passion, everything. So because I don't want to be on my deathbed and be like, oh, I didn't like what I did in my life. And now I want to be like, wow, I'm using life a cool life. So yeah.
I think that's so inspiring, for everyone listening, like being able to follow your joy. And we often talk about this on here, but you're really a living example of that. You are following your joy, you're following your passion, and you're making it work. Do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about the music, about Unexpected Direction? Like, where did it come from? What's your mission to the world? What's your music saying to the world?
Yeah, I mean, I started writing these songs at Berkeley like 8 years ago, I guess. Yeah, it's just like, I mean, it was a natural process for me. I just sat down on piano, was practicing saxophone at Berkeley. The rooms were filled on pianos, so I sat down on the piano, and then just like it was the morning. I was like probably still like sleepy, and I start playing, and then a song comes in, and the song direction was like I played like a voicing on the right hand, which is like a special way to play some notes. But I was repeating this in the bass, and I was like kind of tired with the coffee, and I was moving around what I was hearing, and the bass took this direction and created the song. So I was like, oh, cool, this is a song. And then I played direction because of the bass line. Anyway, then I started with that. Then I had a second song, and then more and more started putting songs together. Then I started to really trying to compose, to sit down with like not being sleepy, but being like, okay, let's make it work. Like, let's try to find a form. So I wrote these songs, and that's it. That's how I do. And I wrote way more than that. I recorded only six, but I wrote like probably like 100 songs in my life or more. I don't know. But then direction took another perspective because I always wanted to record something with strings, and not all the songs have the strings, but there's three with strings with the and some like this. I used to play and write very like jazz songs. This one was a little more songwriting in a way, even if it's not really, but it is a little. So that was something that I got inspired when I moved to the US. In France, I had no clue of that. All my friends were classical and jazz in the music, or some pop rock that I used to play with, but they were not like the hang. Like the people I was hanging with were jazz and classical. At Berkeley, it's different. I started meeting songwriters. Thing I never, it's not I've never been interesting in. I never like really liked it as much, but I was like, there's some cool stuff to take it from there, and I was like, I want to mix jazz with that. And then I started to have like a non really genre of music. I was like, how do you call my music? Like classical because of strings, jazz because rock, pop. Uh, so so there's no name. Let's call it jazz because it's jazz oriented. But and yeah, and that's it. Um, couldn't write the lyrics of the first one, so I asked my friend Russell Johnson. Go check him out. And my friend Russell wrote it. He went to like another stuff. He went to like a love story, like about direction and the love and making mistake. And I was like, probably something happened to him. I don't know, but it was cool. And the writing was something I would never be able to do that. First of my English, and second because I'm not a songwriter. But then I wrote the other songs. I was like, no, I want to try. I want to try. It's not as cool as Russell's writing, but at least I did it. And yeah, and I was like, okay, I want to do that. I don't want to record like a pure jazz that I used to do before. Trying to explore a little different. And yeah, so when I had this all concept in my mind, then I was like, you have to put it on the table and write it. Writing for strings, it's like it's a real job. You know what I mean? It's like there is rules that you cannot do. There is things, and you have to know the rules, but it doesn't have to sound like it is an exercise. It has to sound like it's music. It's way more complicated. It's way more. It's not just about putting four notes together. There's an old art form of counterpoint, of harmony. There's a lot of knowledge behind that. So I had to get back to this because I kind of quit learning at some point. When I left Berkeley. So my friend Martina Oliviero, which is an amazing writer, she came to my house, started giving me lessons. I already wrote direction on my own, and it was not enough. So when I wanted to do balance for the strings, I asked her to give me a lesson. And then she was like, start with that, and we meet each other. We meet again. So I met with her again, and she was like, that's cool, but be careful. You can do that, and she cannot share her entire knowledge in 1 or 2 sessions. But she's excited about what she does, like every musicians. So she was like, oh, but you can also do that. And then we kind of collaborated at some point. Like I was writing a line, she transformed it, then she wrote something, and then at the end of the song, balance the strings is half her. You know what I mean? It's but I learned so much. I learned a lot, and this takes time. Takes a lot of time. So the journey has been been crazy. Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of creatives out there that are feeling so inspired by what you're saying. And like, do you have any kind of things you've learned, like words of wisdom for anyone kind of taking this journey that's still early days? Like, what's the best professional advice you've received along the way?
I don't know. I think there is one thing. It's do not. That people told me that many times. It's famous. Actually, it's a famous thing that actual people told me. Do not. I mean, listen to the others, but never forget to follow what you have inside you. You know what I mean? Does not get discouraged by what people say. And this is something that I've seen. I don't know why. It's so weird, but like since day one in music, in jazz, especially in jazz, not in music, in jazz, always people say I'm making wrong decisions. Like I remember my first teacher was like just one of my first jazz teacher. It's always like, don't do. Why do you do that? Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't play like this. Don't do this. I went to Berkeley and he asked about me. And he was like, how was your first lesson? I'm like, it's great studying with this guy. And we saw this chord. And you know, there is a chord that's called this way. And he's like, why do you call it this way? Like, not even like, wow, that's cool. He said right away, he was like, no, 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 we don't call it this way. Why do you? And you know, at some point they were like, people were like, you're too creative when you play. You don't have jazz. You don't play licks like jazz like traditions and licks, you know. And then I started to play like that, and right after, people were like, "Man, you play too many licks, you know, like you don't, you know what I mean?" And it's they never it's like they don't want you to succeed. They always put you down, and I met people who were like, "You never forget, never forget." And now when I'm not a kid anymore, so you know, I don't care about these people. You know what I mean? It's that they if they think like that, they, sorry for my language, but they suck, you know. it's it's like they're not good. So you know, the guys who told me, that the people who told me, always follow what you have and what you want and what you have, like don't get down by the people who are gonna like put you down, like are trying to. This is real. This is real. This is
So,
real.
how do you measure success? What do you consider successful for yourself? Is it just going on the journey every day? Is it following your passion, or is it a milestone? What do you count as success?
Success is accomplishment for me. There is so many way to describe success. Is what makes you happy. If success for me was to be billionaire, um, if I'm billionaire, I'll be happy. Success, yeah. For me, it isn't. For me, it's the con the you want to go from point A to point B, and you arrive at point B, and the success was not getting to point B. I realize it's the journey between point A and point B. So my album, I told you, is not what I wanted to be. Wanted it to be. It took so many like unexpected directions. So you know, like things. Some things were good. Some things were not good. What I thought before, and you know, at some point I just wanted to do it again. I was like, but you know, I work too much, and financially, I don't have the financial to just book another studio and put the band again. I kept it, and now I'm like, Alex, no, but you did it, and you learned so much, and you know, you achieved that. You sat down 3 years ago, and you're like, you need to do it. And you know, when you sit down, you have this little story of you sitting down sometimes later with your album, and that's I did it. You know, that's it. So this is already like a big success for me. You know, but it isn't like successful at all for like regarding to what I can give to the world. You know, there's no fame yet. So the next success for me is to play the music. The first success was to write. When something I like, when there is a song I like, it's a success. But then I realized that some songs I wrote and didn't go anywhere led me to somewhere else than actually like succeeded. So actually the mistake is a success too, you know. This is very hard. So on the moment I was frustrating, but now I'm thankful I made that mistake because it led me to another thing, even more interesting. So this is success to me, and this is what I want to do on my life. You know, I want to, yeah, I want to do that.
So, a year from now, where do you see yourself?
I don't know. I really don't. You never know. I don't think you can. I mean, you can expect, but a year from now, I don't know. I hope I'll be playing the music. I hope a year from now I'll be actually being in the setup of a tour. Because it takes time, you know, like yeah, you have to program the venues, It's like the big ones, because my band is 10 people on stage. It's like an impossible band to tour if you're not famous, so it's going to be very difficult for me to get. But if I can get it, music won't be played before a year from now. It would take another full year, because it's seasonal. They already prepared the programmation for the next season, so you have to apply for seasons 25, something like that. So
I hope everyone does take a listen to your music. It's an Alex Madeline music experience, and I didn't appreciate jazz the way I do now, and that's thanks to you. I've had the privilege of working with you on your press and your website and all of that
yeah,
through
thank you.
Studio. And it's really a sonic journey. It really takes you on a journey. So as much as you've had a journey creating it, it's a journey listening to it. So big congrats for creating something amazing in the world. Yeah, we can be very proud.
I've
Yeah,
listened to
thanks.
it. It's very good. I'm not a big jazz person, but you could recognize when people put a lot of effort into something. It's beautiful. It sounds beautiful. Very calming.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for listening. That's the first thing. It's I never do a thing for. I mean, yes, I want the people to like it, because if they like, they come back, and then I have more gigs and I play more. But I don't want to offer something to like it. That's why I was talking to the people, like to some friends yesterday. It's like honesty in life. Life is full of dishonest people. I'm gonna smile in front of you. I was telling this because they're like, why don't you play more pop music with the DJs or something like? And I was like, listen, like if I talk to you and I smile to you, I constantly smile, and then I go home and I tell my friends, who is your friend, like, oh, I hate her, and he tells you, how do you feel about me? She would be like, yeah, that would not be nice, and I would not like you. And I'm like, or I'm just very honest with you right now, so I don't really smile and I say weird things, so you might think I'm weird, but interesting in a way, but weird. And then I go home and I tell, oh, this person, she's amazing. I love her. And then my friend tells you, how do you feel about me? She would be like, oh, yeah, I'd be happy. It's an honesty. I'm like, that's what I do in music. I don't want to create a music for you to like. I want you, I offer me to you. Like, it's me, like Paul, that's it's me. Like, it's purely creation. I didn't do anything to please you. What do you think? And then you're like, I like it. I don't like it. And when someone comes to me after a show and is be like, "Hey man, like interesting. I really didn't like your song, but interesting." And I'm like, "At least you listen. At least you're not pretending like, oh, that was amazing." And actually, in the back of your head, you're like, "Oh, I hate it." So no, so it's great if you listen. Thank you.
I like your French candor. Like you're just very candid and honest about how you feel about everything.
No, but that is true. This is why you're friends compare not friends. Well, it's two humans together. The difference between a friend and a friend, it's like you can tell the truth to your friends. Why don't you do that with other people? Of course, there's rules. You cannot be like so friendly with someone right away, but you can be honest. Not too much. Don't go to see a person in the street and be like, "Oh, you look horrible." It's not. This is not nice, because the results won't be nice. But when you
Yeah.
offer a craft, you should always do it with love. And if love guides you to not pleasing the person, you should do that. Because if you try to please the person, but it's against what you want, then you're not gonna do something 100%. Because you always have this kind of, I have to do it for this in your back in your head. So and I'm pretty sure people think of that at the end of their life. You know, I'm pretty sure you have this moment when you think about regrets and not. And I'm pretty sure if you worked and act in an environment where you were pleasing people without pleasing yourself, on top of you also show them a fake thing, so it's not respecting them too. You know what I mean? It's a hard topic, and actually so easy too, because it's life.
Yeah. Yeah. C'est
Um,
la vie. C'est
so
la vie.
maybe,
So we do this thing every week where we talk about our gems of the week, and they basically the things that help us, like that fill your cup, that help you be the working professional that you are. So, Saj, do you want to kick us off? What's been your gem? of the week?
Yeah, I think I've just been really stressed out about being perfect in these companies this week. So this weekend, I force fed myself to kind of go out and relax a little bit. And it was good. This is why I have no voice today. But I think it's a constant thing, right? Just reminding yourself that kind of success is the journey. That's something I tell myself all the time. And there's different versions of it. So just trying to make time for that this week and having those gentle reminders and realizing that you can't just do all or nothing. Even if you focus on the businesses all week, there's still self-care, there's still food, there's still everything else that makes up a life. And just trying to balance that each week has been a gentle reminder to myself to, kind of do the self-care, do the things that genuinely kind of make you happy. I think, we're in a new environment, and I was telling somebody about it. Somebody was asking me over the weekend, like, oh, did you guys move to Miami? And I was like, no, we're like thinking of it. And it's been hard. There's just been a lot of changes in a small amount of time, but you're kind of forced to be here, I reckon, that show up. You just do the best you can. And that, like, just forcing myself to be like, that's enough. So that's enough. That's what your success is going to be. What about you, Nicole?
Nice. Yeah, I have had really an awesome week celebrating the launch of Swatcut Studios officially into the world. I mean, we've had Alex working with him before, but we haven't really announced it into the world. So that's really exciting. And I also have a song that's released. So it's really awesome to put a second one out there. I similarly also understand the journey of creating and producing and writing so much, and it takes quite a while to actually get them out there into the world. So definitely feeling the Spotify won't keep on the lights feeling that we were talking about, but super happy that it's out there. So that's been really filling my cup this week. How about you, Alex?
This week, I'm like I have the CDs, the physical CDs. I work with labels, so I have the I work on the album a lot. Like like there's so many things. I did the investigations. I had like some journalists in meetings. How a PR how a PR person is doing. Because I tried to work with PR. Some of them were like way too pricey. Was working a lot on that this week. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And I have a friend visiting. He's
Oh,
doing
nice.
Juilliard, the auditions for the Juilliard Master program.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a good friend of
That's
mine.
amazing. So a full week and
Full week.
a full week. Oh man, well that's awesome, and thank you so much for coming to share with us today.
No,
Like,
it's cool. It's not. I like to talk about it. It's very important. It's a message. It's so hard to say when you're one person, but it's true. Everyone knows, but no one don't do anything about that. Like the success that you said. The word success. Success is not fame. It's a blindness. And it's so sad. Like everyone is like my friend Andy Lee. I told you is great, and he had like 2,000 followers like a month or two ago, something like that, and now he has like 25. And he's playing covers. That's it. He's not playing his own music much, but it's in order to do that. And that's so funny because when we hang out, so many people are like, he is the same amazing musician for years now. You know what I mean? It's like, and he's been hanging with the people, and the people never said, congrats, you put a song out. But then recently people start to be like, oh, congrats for the followers. And I'm like, wow. So actually, like a musician telling to another musician, congrats, but not about the music. So, you realize people, most of them, they're not doing art. They're looking for fame. And the art things, artworks, like theater, music, paintings. It's a very good opportunity for the people to try to get famous and get attention. But the real success for me is not that. The real success is the song. When I see Andy Louis, the success is the ability, is musical ability and creativity he put producing his songs when it was out. So Andy Louis has a big success for me a couple of years ago when he started playing music. Not because he has 25,000 and not because he's going to have 2 million followers. No, this is not the success. And I think people, they have to understand that because the world is going to a different place because of that. There is no craft anymore. Before it used to be crafty. Now it's not crafty because of that. So I like to, and thank you for letting me speak about it.
Of course, yeah, and it is. That's what we're here to do. Have those authentic conversations, have those honest talks, and really, I mean, hopefully with Swartcut, that is what we'd like to do: is empower people to create authentic art. As AI hopefully does take over a lot of the mundane shit that we don't have to do every day. We can be creative. We can be creative souls in the world and actually create things from within us, like you said. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for inspiring everyone and also showing us that it's financially possible. You just have to grind. So
Yeah.
Can you share with our listeners where they can find you and your music?
Yeah, all the platforms, and they can go to alexmadelinemusic.com. Create like the website has been made by Swartcat. Thank you for that.
It's a beautiful
And
website.
it is, it's cool, like it's very good. So yeah, I mean, they can find me there. If people are in New York, there is some of my gigs that I post, and they can always come in. It's a nice environment. Just the cool thing with jazz, it's like you play a lot in like small clubs, bars, which is a very nice and cozy environment. It's a hang at the same time. It's not like you don't have your seat and you sit and you don't move and then you wait to clap and no, it's
okay, amazing. Well, everyone can go check you out. Go be honest with Alex about your experience of his
And then I'm
music.
gonna receive like 1,000 emails saying I hate it.
Not at all. Impossible, Alex. Thank you again for having shared with us today. And yeah, for everyone out there, is there anyone that's not following their joy because you are fearful of what that might mean financially for you? So we'd love to hear from you. Remember to tag us using hashtag These Friday Feels to share your stories and listen to us on all your favorite platforms. And to work with us, have us broadcast Friday Feels from your space and organize your next workation, reach out to us at hello@friday-feels.co.
Next week, we are chatting with a very special lady and powerful businesswoman, Ruki Roti Balogun, who will be sharing with us her journey as a senior corporate leader, investor, advisor, mentor in the fintech and AI space. And we'll be chatting about what money positivity means to her.
But until next time, that is our mix. We've had fun mingling with you, and we wish you safe travels into your bed, into the night, and into this awesome weekend. So see you next week, and keep it real.